Well, hello everyone. Welcome to Office Hours with Arrow, a LinkedIn live event hosted by Arrow leaders who care about what senior living looks like. Hello, Stephanie Harris. It's a pleasure to see you today.
Well, hello.
How are you doing?
I'm here.
Someone asked me that today, and I said the same thing. I'm here. I feel like that's the first step. For those of you tuning in and wondering what is LinkedIn Live with Arrow about this week, well, it's all about our words of the year. So we have a tradition, which everyone knows I love a good old tradition, but we have a tradition every year for the last few years that we ask our leaders within the organization, our communities, our service areas to come up with that word of the year that's going to inspire them throughout the year and help keep them on course. And so we thought
somebody is being inspired by your word already, and you hadn't even said it. Texting you right there on the call.
Oh, yeah. I did silence my phone. I didn't think about that before. But anyway, so we're here to talk a little bit about our words of the year, why we do it, what's happening, how's it going. Stephanie, you have a word of the year.
I do. It's funny. It's like this would be about when I would typically break any resolution. I'm not even sure I'd make it this long. Let's be real. I can't keep a habit to save my life. So I told my mom, I think once that as a kid, like I think I'll never be able to. I'll never do drugs because I can't maintain a habit. So, but I can maintain a word. I can maintain a word because I do like this concept as a shift in thinking because resolutions you break, you feel bad about it, but a word just kind of it just tethers you or refocuses you when it's necessary. And so I like it too because later today I'm going to be meeting with Buck, Michael Buckley, for our coaching conversation, and he's going to keep my feet to the fire on my word and how I want to bring my word to life. So I'll tell you my word. You ready for my word?
Yes, but before you tell us, let's have a special shout out moment because we wouldn't have done word of the year without Michael Buckley.
Yep. He is
Buckley.
Yep. Yeah, because and actually you helped me land on my word because I went on for me I probably my biggest hobby is to go on a walk and clear my head, and I kept thinking of the word. I actually was the one who chose the word of the year for the company, which is transform. So we'll talk a little bit about that one, but it's all in the spirit of how I was feeling. I had shared a year or so ago with Buck when I was trying to find my word for last year that there's a lot about what got me started as an entrepreneur in building this business. And I did my origin story today with our new hires, and I was telling them about the story of, starting the business and kind of the grit that goes into starting a company, and to the point that I had to move into my office. You think about like the sacrifices that you make, but I was also taking bigger risks. And there is something to be said that I have, as I've grown older, I value. I'm valuing the moment a little bit more as a present, to be present, than I probably did in my youth. But there is something that's really exciting, and I don't know, just energizing to take risks as well. I think an entrepreneur always has that. And so I really want to figure out how to do that. And so I landed on the word launch.
Launch.
Yeah, because I do think that we're in such a transformative point in this industry. I think we're getting ready to get into that 3.0 version of who we will be. What I think is what we're doing this year is getting systems ready to go live, much like a shuttle launch. And there's, in a traditional launch, there's like 30 different people have to sign off, not to mention all the things that go up to it. They're looking at each of their vantage points and saying, in a coordinated effort, we're ready to go. And I think that this is really an opportunity for Arrow and its growth and our industry and its growth, that I want to figure out a business model where we're so focused and informed and collaborative on that outcome that anyone could be able to shut it down, to fix something, to dress something, could have that voice, could have that say, but at the same time that we're so synced up with that kind of focus. And it gives me a sense of like, I want to take the risks, but also get the benefit of the insight that I have now in the leadership team we've been built out. When my accountability used to be just to me, it is now to the entire organization. I'm really excited to figure out ways to incorporate those processes and how you and I work together, or how we work across the leadership team. So that was my inspiration for launch.
Yeah. It also helps that you are a huge space nerd. And
Yes.
so it just kind of embodies like your personality as well.
Yes.
So, I do think it's interesting to have words for ourselves, words for our company, words for our service areas, words for our community, because our company word is transform. I have noticed myself in the last couple of weeks, when I am getting ready to make a decision or I'm evaluating something that's happening, like I'm really asking the question, is this person capable of transforming? And I think everybody's probably capable, but is this somebody that will naturally transform this moment in time? Or is this somebody who is going to struggle with creating a transformation? And if our focus is that we need to transform this program, or we need to transform this operational issue that we need to figure out a resolution through, do we have transformative leaders on our team? And so I think the other big thing, so I'm catching myself thinking about decisions with the lens of, is like, how do we transform this? Can we transform it? Do we have the right players in place to do it? And then I think another big focus I'm hoping we'll see with Buck over the course of this year is like figuring out, how do you help somebody evolve to become more transformative?
Yep. And I like it because so not only is it about looking at leadership development to ensure that they are transformative. We talked about this we do a weekly call for about the last 14, 15 years at this point. Every Wednesday, I do a call with the team for about 15 minutes. And one of the top, all call.
Leaders of the company are invited.
Yep. And
which
so
is like, it's usually over, it's
about 150, 160 logins with sometimes 3 and 4 people in the same room. So it's really a fun group together, but it's an opportunity to share the thoughts. And, for me, transform, I'd really like our leadership team to see that they have a part in growing others, that just as much as you're looking at, can somebody transform? I think that those who are right there and capable of doing that need to be working on transforming others too. And so I also think with the retreats that we are doing, the topic next week, I think, is related to our wellness retreat, which is going on right now. We're going to be joining the group here in about 30 minutes as they're wrapping up their last day. But as we were preparing, it was a great way to organize even our managing director of wellness, Crystal Parrish, on the topic she's covering. Does it transform? Is that transactional or is that transform? So it's like, this is really going to be a neat way to see, can it get us organized in the intention for our interactions and for our leadership development intentions?
Well, it's interesting that you choose intention, because the wellness team, their word of the year is intentional. So like,
Yep.
As they go through, and this is the first time in the history of our company that for 8 consecutive weeks, we are bringing together service areas every single week to talk, like to gather together as a peer group and to transform their program or transform their department. I just saw Cassie's word of the year is bloom.
Yes.
So she's going to be a flower. She'll be. But I think it's
your word is the fun one.
My word is so. My word of the year is duck. DUCK. And when I was thinking, I even have a little duck here on my desk as a reminder of my word. As I was thinking about, like, last year, my word was collaboration. And, it was really important to me to figure out how to, sometimes I tend to be,
Let me just watch your face on this statement. I know what you're going to say.
what am I going to say? Say it.
Collaboration's not your best friend.
Collaboration is not my best friend. It never has been. I tend to be the loudest voice in the room sometimes. I tend to be I tend to not always be open, and I don't want to be that kind of leader. I recognize that that's not a fun leader to work with. And so trying to figure out how to create space for collaboration, that was my goal last year. As we transition into this year, the thing that is most present for me right now is how, like, all of the things that are coming at us through the operation, like how we work with our clients, how we work with our employees, how we work with our residents, how we work with each other. And I can imagine that everyone in our industry, in an operational role, can appreciate this. I mean, like, at any given moment, you can have, why are you grinning like that? It's making me feel funny.
I'm waiting for you to land the plane because I'm excited.
Waiting to land the plane. It's going to be another 15 minutes, so sit tight. No. We have, like, at any given moment, you can have so many different things coming at you. And and how you juggle the different, and I don't want to call them problems. I mean, we always want to look at things as opportunities to solve. But when you have, like, this complaint, this broken thing, this coming, and all of these things coming at us, and I know everybody goes through that. Like, I kept dancing around the idea of, like, unshakable, because for my team, I don't want to be somebody that can't carry the load of everything that we have coming at us. I want to be somebody who is unshakable. And I had this vision of, like a duck, when they sit on water, everything looks kind of calm, and underneath things are working, or you're paddling. And so that's where the idea of the word started. And I liked that idea, but it seemed kind of like odd. So I started doing some research. Are you ready? I did so much research on the duck. Here are the things that I learned. And I was actually like, I really like this. Like, this is the kind of leader I want to be. So are you ready?
I am so ready.
Thank you. Okay. So a duck is a curious creature gifted with the capacity to learn a bit of everything, which I feel like in operations, you really have to be that. So being mindful of the fact of you're really wanting to kind of know a little bit of everything. Some say that to be like a duck is to have many abilities, and though well executed and with competence, you're never doing it with perfection. So, like, ducks can swim and fly and walk, but, like, and I guess in my mind, I want to be able to do a lot of things. I don't have to do it all perfectly, but I need to be able to do it fluently. The duck does not care if it's the most talented; it just acts. I read an article.
That's pretty cool.
Are you making fun of me? I can't tell if you're making.
No.
Okay. Another.
Well, maybe we should change your word to confidence.
You're confident. You just start rattling me. Okay. Another incredible ability is their rapid capacity to identify less than ideal environments for their species development and survival. So I like the idea that ducks aren't afraid of starting over or beginning a new journey, and they are able to assess a situation and pivot. And I want to be able to start over. I want to be able to start fresh. I want to be able to pivot. I want to be able to assess when something's working or not working and be able to make a change. And then this is my favorite part. Ducks don't believe in winning alone. They understand the power of collaboration, and during their flights, they use the V formation to help save energy. The ones that lead the formation reduce air resistance for those that follow, and ducks know intuitively when to go and where to go, and they possess an enormous sense of direction and community. All things check yes, please. I would like to have those qualities. And then they also, when a leader needs a break, they recognize when they need a break and they step back to let others lead. And which again, kind of speaks to that collaboration piece. So.
You sure it wasn't inspired by your college mascot?
It could have also, my college mascot when I was a senior in college was a duck. It's fine. But the other thing that I also want to be able to duck and bob and weave when people throw things at us. So it's not literally, but figuratively. So again,
but realistically though, sometimes bad information flows faster than good, or good information and bad information don't flow at the same speed. But in your position, you're really handling, like I get the opportunity to live ahead of the organization and like thinking at, different, forward thinking and external communication. And you live at the core of all of the internal communication and the management of the chaotic things of the day. And, I think that's a very fitting word for you in your role.
Well, thank you. And I feel like I recognized a moment yesterday with it. Cause like yesterday, so you had issued out a challenge to us to solve something. And yesterday, like I probably hadn't tuned in to the level that I needed to, but I started picking up that, we had one group of people working to solve the problem over here. We had another group that were working to solve the problem over here. And so quickly I was like, no, we all need to come together to solve this problem. And then an hour into solving the problem, I was like, this is not like whatever we're doing isn't working. And you and I regrouped. And then after having that moment, we were able to solve the problem in like 20, 30 minutes. And so again, it's like, I want to be able to continue to assess situations and make the right call to get us through things. And so
I think one of my favorite things, I like to kayak in the summer, and the lake always has ducks. We're right next to a duck hunting area that the ducks finally have found a safe haven in the lake where I kayak. And you were describing the description of the ducks, and they're just intentionally in this little line, and they're weaving and assessing me as their risk on a regular basis. And that's a synergistic kind of, they're thinking ahead, but they're organizing behind. And I think that really fits the role you have to be in, is how you and I communicate on what's ahead, what's going on, but then you're getting all your ducks in a row. It's really, really a cool organizing word.
Yeah. So I think here's what I would say. If you are watching this and you are not from Arrow, or you are from Arrow and you happen to run across a leader in our organization at a conference or in passing, I would challenge you to say, oh, you're from Arrow? What's your word of the year?
Yep.
Because every single leader within our organization should have one. That's the goal. So that's really exciting.
Yep. Oh, Susanna, who with Safely You.
Hi, Susanna.
And I love. I was actually alluding to that because the real present in life is to be present. I really do think that's a really cool word. And I think high achieving individuals and those who are servant leaders, which I think are two things that happen in leadership and senior living, you have to have those two things together, are people who often can't live in the moment. They can't be as present as they need to be. And so I think that's a great word to intentionally refocus.
Yeah.
Camellia. Cultivate. That feels like a transform kind of word. I like that one. Amanda, what are some of the topics, the words you said, the word of the year for the wellness team? What are some of the other service area words of the year?
What I was saying before you took me off on a duck tangent, I'm so excited because this is the first time in the history of our company where we are bringing service areas together. And again, I mean, you and I are going to be busy over the next 8 weeks because we're going to be popping into each of these retreats, spending quality time.
Lots of pickleball.
Having quality time with the department heads from across our communities, which I will say yesterday we popped in and, I hear these people's, or like I hear our directors' names as we talk about different things that are happening, or I might see them on a Zoom, or not a Zoom call, a Teams call. But it was really cool to talk with them in person and meet them in person. And so like I was thinking about this as I was driving home, like how cool is it going to be that we're getting to spend that kind of time with every single leader in our company? Like that's pretty impressive. But so Wellness is doing their retreat today, focusing in on intention and being intentional. Next week, and I think the other thing I'm really excited about is LinkedIn Live for the next 8 weeks is going to be featuring. So like this week, the wellness team met, and next week on LinkedIn Live, the wellness team leaders are going to come together and kind of talk about the things that they're working on this year in our wellness programming, the things that, which I think is interesting. Again, if you're a vendor of ours or you're in the industry, like I think it's important that we kind of collaborate on what are the major things that the wellness team is trying to initiate across or for the course of this year. If we're doing it, I would assume other industry management companies are also kind of thinking that way. And again, I know that you're a big proponent of sharing information, collaborating across across the industry, because again, we want to improve the industry. I mean, that's the point of doing this as a whole. Anyway, next week, sales is going to be meeting, and their word of the year is empowered. Resident services is meeting, and their word is evolve. When the HR team meets, their word is capable. Plan ops is leveling up. The culinary team is thriving, and memory care is making connections, which I think are all good words.
Well, that sounds like a phrase of the year.
What?
Making connections.
No, the word is connections.
Okay.
I just ad-libbed a little to like smooth the transition of speech. Thank you.
All right. Well, I know the Empower next week is the sales retreats will be in St. Louis, and I had an opportunity to visit with the two managing directors and the chief sales officer about that, and you could tell like just everything is about what does it mean to reinforce that word empower, and the big thing for us is we grew. We had a tremendous amount of growth during COVID. In a period of time where we weren't so physically present with people, like to have 44 different sales directors who don't know each other in an opportunity to come together. We've probably carried been running with the ball while very capable people haven't been empowered. And so I'm really excited about that team and the work that they're doing to really push down and really empower the team members in the communities to be driving the sales excellence of the organization. And I think each word, as you say them, I could like almost visualize that particular service area's business plan for the year and the initiatives that they're working on, that those words just really empower either the core of their service, like connection with memory care, or to the business needs that the sales team have with the word empower. I love the leveling up as well. That's a good one for the plan ops team.
Because they use levels.
Yes.
I think that's why they did that.
Mike Boyd is a very clever individual. I'm sure he put a lot of thought into that.
For those of you who don't know, Mike is literally on the other side of this wall. And if I wasn't doing a very professional moment, I would just holler and ask Mike through the wall. But that's not appropriate. No, I was going to say the empower word I think is interesting. I've caught myself multiple times, and probably the last quarter of the year, like recognizing that like we have a lot of team members that box themselves in with like these self-imposed rules. And I was like, what are you, I just got off of the resident services all call before we joined here. And one of the debates was
the Evolve group.
Evolve. But one of the conversations that have popped up was like about candlelight dinner. And they're like, can families come? And someone's like, no, families can't come. And I was like, and then they're like, well, how are we going to tell families that they can't come? And I was like, you're not.
You're not.
You're not going to say. I'm like, you quit boxing yourself in. Quit creating these rules.
It sounds like evolve is a very important word.
Yeah, but I mean, again, I think people are just trying to do good and trying to do the right thing, and in doing that, they create like these ways to do good, and it kind of just it what's the word I'm looking for when it like it impedes you?
Yeah, it really creates their own obstacle. They're creating their own obstacles. Yeah.
So
self-imposed barriers.
Transform those obstacles.
Yes.
Into I don't know what, but something. But anyway. Well, is there anything else you want to say about the word of the year? Because I know that we've got to go to the wellness retreat and say hello.
We have an opportunity to be present at the wellness retreat.
Also, I have a little surprise for the wellness directors. I don't think they're watching right now because they should be doing the retreat. But we got these little. So last year we had these things made with our word of the year on them, and so they like.
There's one of my most favorite words.
Mine sits on my desk, but we made little like things for the wellness team. So we're going to pass them out at the end of the retreat, and it has their word of the year on it so that they could set it on their desk or have it as a reminder. I'm very excited. You know me, I love a good creative follow-up moment. So anyway.
All right. Well, let's. I'm excited to see how we can continue to transform ourselves, our departments, our service areas that we oversee, our operations, the organizational structure, and be hopefully thinking of new, being able to influence or support new ways to transform this industry. This is in a state of what feels like kind of chaotic disruption. This is a really exciting opportunity to think about the challenges ahead as opportunities, and I think that's what the word transform really will force us to do. So I'm excited. I'm ready to launch.
I think we did it, Stephanie.
All right.
I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, everyone. Talk to you later.
All right. Bye.